Yes, welcome, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders. I'm Jared, founder and CEO of Fran Opps. Welcome to another episode of Fran Opps Live. Man, I am so excited for today. This is actually the first time, I believe, that we've brought on two guests at one time. Usually it's just me and another one just hanging out, but I'm excited. You get two for one today, two of the greatest developers in franchise exploration. So it's really important when you're looking at brands to not just look at the name, but to get to know the people behind the name, and to learn, like, can I trust these people? These people have experience and wisdom they're offering? Do they seem to care about me? And you'll learn all these things as we dive into our Fran Opps Live today. I'm really excited. So drop your questions in here. It's the beauty of being on here live with us, is you get to ask your questions in real time to the experts in this space. A couple of housekeeping things real quick. We have some great guests over the next couple of weeks, but I want to let you know on February 27th, so the last Thursday of this month, we're going to have what we're calling the State of the Union address. I have three significant changes, three major announcements that we're going to be revealing right here on Fran Opps Live on the 27th. So make sure you set it on your calendar. Make sure you're here in live so you can ask questions about it. But man, I could not be more excited about the things that are coming up this year. 2025 is going to be a great year for Fran Opps and for our network with BAI, Business Alliance Incorporated. And that's who we're bringing in today, is actually one of our brands inside of our portfolio at BAI, one of the most well-known brands. We're bringing in a couple guys from Meineke Car Center, and I'm excited to talk through this. They're owned by Driven Brands. They've been in business for over 5 decades, over 50 years in business. So as you're contemplating different franchise opportunities and you're looking for ones with the brand name and longevity, I don't know if you're going to find one much longer than this one, but it's a great time to do it too. The automotive industry, at least the collision repair side of it, that whole market is expected to reach $216.4 billion this year alone. Cars right now are averaging 12 years on the road, and so this is a great opportunity and great time to invest into this brand. Meineke themselves have over 11,000 employees, 4,400 locations, and they service over 70 million vehicles every single year. Maybe you've seen them on Forbes or in Franchise Times or on Entrepreneur Magazine, because they rank consistently year after year as one of the top franchise opportunities across multiple categories. So, man, without further ado, I'm excited to welcome in my good friends Devin Hughes and Jake Wyan from Meineke.
My name is Ben LaFell. I'm partnered with Colin Farrell and Gordon McCarthy, and together we run Morningside Texas Holdings. Morningside Texas Holdings owns and operates 10 Meineke franchise locations across Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. When we first came up with the idea that we wanted to invest in automotive, we were trying to figure out who the right partner would be. And we started looking at all the other players in the space, and we were really impressed with Driven Brands, and more specifically the team at Meineke.
We saw that there was a lot of opportunity, and we thought we could add a ton of value both for ourselves, our investors, and our employees.
What differentiates Meineke from the other competitors is the management team. You know, they're looking to build automotive shops for the 2020s, not the 1990s.
I got two great partners, and we're partnered up with Meineke, who's a great company who's set up to help us grow. And it's going to allow us to get to many, many more locations than 10 and build an amazing, amazing business.
It's pretty neat to run a business that you have so many people that are dedicated to and be a part of creating jobs for, hardworking people.
Devin and Jake, welcome, my friends, to Fran Opps Live. You've made it to the greatest Facebook group in the metaverse. I'm glad you're here with us today, man.
Jared, really excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. It feels a lot like a podcast vibe, so excited to have some fun here and share some great knowledge with everybody and also our backgrounds. So appreciate that great intro.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Jake, welcome too. I'm glad you're here. Can you hear us okay as well?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jared. Really appreciate you having us and allowing Meineke to present on your platform here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited to have you guys. This is good. I want to let's dive right in and tell us a little bit about. Can you tell us a little bit about who Driven Brands is, and then kind of how Meineke fits into that?
Yeah, Jared, happy to break down Driven Brands, where Meineke plays, within the Driven portfolio and within the automotive space there. So Driven Brands is the largest aftermarket automotive service company in North America, owning 4,800 plus locations across multiple brands, really playing in a couple different spaces in the automotive industry here. First being the repair and maintenance with our brands like Meineke, Take 5 Oil Change, in the collision and paint space with Mako and Auto Glass Now, a couple other brands as well. And then also in the auto glass space with our brand Auto Glass Now, and then in the car wash space as well.
Oh, really?
With International Car Wash Group and Take 5 Car Wash. Meineke specifically plays in the repair and maintenance sector of our Driven portfolio there, and it's one of our brands where we're really focused on growing with new franchisees in majority of markets across the United States.
Yeah, I'm excited to unpack that a little bit. And Devin, you're the senior director of franchise development. How long have you been with Meineke? Kind of tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So I've been in the franchise space for.
Hey, Devin, real quick. I apologize. I don't know, Jake. Are you hearing? I have a little ringing on Devin's side. Do you hear that too, or is it coming through loud and clear?
I'm hearing that as well.
Okay, Devin, I'm having a little we're having just a little weird audio kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I'll bring you out real quick, and let's try to bring you back in. Try it now.
Mic and turn it back on. Any different?
There's a high squeal with it. That's for sure. But at least I could hear you better there. Yeah.
Okay, let me try one more time.
Yeah, you're good. How about Devin? How about you try hopping out and hopping right back in? I can bring you on.
Okay.
While he's doing that, can you tell us a little bit about the Meineke as itself, as far as like what it is, what it does? Let's start very basic. What Meineke does.
Yeah, Jared, happy to do so. So Meineke is a full-service automotive repair and maintenance brand. We focus on your standard repair and maintenance work, your oil changes, air and cabin filter replacements, your brake jobs, a lot of work in the wheel well with shocks, struts, anything where you're bringing your car in for just a general inspection, a tune-up, making sure it's safe for you to be on the road, and making sure we're treating your vehicle with any necessary adjustments and replacements under the hood to just make sure your vehicle is operating as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, it's amazing where here's Devin. Hey Devin, welcome back in. Is it working any better?
It's a fan in the background, I believe, was the noise.
Oh, so that's much
better. Yes,
so
good.
So good. And that's technology for you, the beauty of doing this kind of remotely. But thanks for figuring that out. Devin, we were just talking about what Meineke is, kind of getting the very basic understanding of the franchise and what they do. Can you tell us a little bit about the measurements that you guys use to know that you are successful as a franchisor? So like, I can't imagine, you guys have been in business for over 50 years, and I can't imagine, first of all, how the automotive industry has shifted over those 50 years, how you guys as a company have had to evolve in order to remain successful in what you do and the services you provide, and how everything has changed. But then also in franchising, how franchising has changed over those years as well. The evolution needs to take place in order to continue to remain successful. How do you know that you are being successful as a franchisor today?
I want to share just quickly my background too, if I can jump back to that, because that was a good question.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that because the stinking fan. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, 14 years in the franchise space, and
wow.
I kind of stumbled into franchising a few years after college. And the interesting thing for me is I spent 6 years on the operations side. Yeah. And it was just really rewarding for me as a young buck, helping folks improve their business and improve their livelihood. And so it really sparked my passion for the franchise space. And so switching to franchise development, it's been very rewarding, bringing on great franchisees, seeing them flourish. And it's really about changing lives that I'm in this. That's the skin in the game that I have in terms of just, what my passion is in franchise development. So again, appreciate that. Great question. When we look at, and I'll give Jake the mic here in a second too, when we look at performance metrics, one of the interesting things with Driven, you mentioned technology earlier in your intro, is that we have really great tech that our owners use to help evaluate their business. And so our owners have these vast micro and macro management reports that are all cloud-based that helps them be able to see the intricacies of the business. That all goes to also just financial breakdowns and stuff like that. We'll talk more about how we care about both top and bottom line and our, how we view our franchisees as partners. But our owners have these great dashboards that break down their numbers compared to industry averages or our franchise system. So that coupled with our coaching and operations, we'll talk more about that as well, really help our owners be able to understand where they are and what the needs are of the business. And then our team helps coach them along the journey of growth. And Jake, I know you had a couple points on this as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and speaking to what Jared mentioned, the 50 plus years in business for Meineke, it truly speaks to our proven, tested playbooks that we've really refined and perfected over our years of operations here. And kind of speaking to the innovation of Meineke as well, for some of our older franchisees in our group here, I'm sure you've heard of Meineke mufflers before, which was the original name of Meineke. We've adapted from doing 97% muffler replacement work to doing full service automotive maintenance and repair, and being super innovative for what the future holds as well. With whether it's EVs or whatever comes next in the automotive world. We're already rolling out EV strategies and brainstorming EV ideas, so we can be the first player to the market and supporting our franchisees through that route. One thing worth mentioning as well with Meineke is really our net promoter score and the way we treat our customers. So across the automotive landscape in general, typical automotive sits around out of a five-star Google rating at around 2.3. Meineke, specifically through our customer service strategy, has a net promoter score of roughly 4.4 across the United States. So really speaks to how we treat our customers and the service we provide as being a very high quality automotive repair and maintenance brand.
Yeah, that's so shocking, because I feel like especially companies in the automotive space typically and probably unfortunately get often like a bad rap for what they do. Can you trust them? They kind of sleazy, and so incredible to see that through over 50 years of doing this, the kind of status that you guys have built up in this space. And for anyone looking for those opportunities, and you're asking those questions like, well, how will AI change it? How will the current economics change it? Are they able to evolve? What about whether it's recession or whether it's a pandemic? Like, Meineke's been doing this for 50 plus years and highly successful at it. And so you're looking at an opportunity right now that knows how to change with the times and to stay ahead of it too. Some of those things you mentioned, Jake, incredible. Can you guys tell me a little bit about the
Sorry, can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Please do. Go ahead.
I mentioned partnership earlier, and so what we want to see is our partners expand and grow the business, and that's when we feel we're successful. So a lot of owners expand into multiple units. I'd love to talk a little bit more about that playbook in a moment, but that's when we feel we're successful, when owners are expanding, adding on additional units, expanding into different geographies. For us, that's success.
I like that you refer to them as partners too. I think this says a lot about the mentality that you guys have as the franchisor in this relationship. Tell me a little bit then about the kind of partners or the kind of owners that you guys are looking for.
Yeah, so with what we're looking for from our prospects, our franchisees who are interested in Meineke, we're looking for really individuals who are looking to be their own boss and looking to grow with a brand who will provide them support in areas where they need the support. We don't require any automotive experience for our franchisees or our prospects we're looking to grow with. Reason for that being is because that's where we come in as the franchisor, and with our proven playbooks. We can give you the support operationally. We can teach you how to change oil, how to do a brake job, how to check out a customer through our POS system. But the skills we want you to come in with are more business management. Know how to handle your employees, know how to handle a P&L, and be able to run a profitable shop with our guidance based off of, again, the proven playbooks we've established, and then also our advertising and marketing support, which is something we fully take off our franchisees' plate allowing them to really dive in to the operations and to the management of their business, with us handling all local and national level advertising and marketing for our franchisees.
Are you looking for single and or multi-unit owners, or like primarily multi-unit owners? Or I know some franchisors are just different there. What are you guys looking for?
So we do it.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, we do both across our system here. You know, we want to help the single unit guy who really wants to be his own boss and wants the support to have one location in his market. And on the flip side, we want to help the multi-unit investor grow his portfolio and help him diversify into the automotive space. You know, whether it's on a scale of, 4 units or 10 plus units, we have franchisees from a multitude of different backgrounds, but they've came in either with, 20 store commitments, 15 store commitments, down to the 5, 6, 7, 8 store commitments. And then our single unit operators as well. Very important to us with bringing in operators who are going to be successful and who, we believe in, just having them enter the system, opening successful, profitable locations, and providing that excellent service that Meineke does across the nation here.
Again, when you talk about partnership, it doesn't matter how a franchisee comes into the system. If they come in with 1 unit or multiple units, that tech platform that I mentioned before, been the genesis of our multi-unit playbook that we've developed. And so we actually have key operational tools and resources and support dedicated to multi-unit owners. So we are a great fit for those brand builders who want to take, who want to build a portfolio in a recession-resistant industry. Like Jake mentioned, we take marketing off the plate of our franchisees. And so it's really about the operations of the business, building teams underneath of them, and expanding as they grow. So those brand builders do really well in our model as well.
Yeah. Wow. What does that process look like for them to become an owner with Meineke? I envision with it being like it's a full build out, right? So I envision that on-ramp that is probably a little lengthier than some other work from home, kind of franchise opportunities. So what does that process look like for them to really become an owner? How quickly can they become an owner themselves?
Yeah, typical process is anywhere from 30 to 60 days roughly is kind of a timeline we're looking for a franchisee to be properly vetted and onboarded. But like Devin has mentioned throughout the process, it's a partnership. We're not just vetting the franchisee or the prospect. The prospect is vetting Meineke. They're making sure, who they're working with on the operations, on the real estate, our brand president, making sure that these are individuals that they want to work with, that they believe in, and that, they trust to steer Meineke in the right direction to help them open a profitable, successful automotive shop in their market there. And really what that process looks like kind of from start to finish, we have just what we call an intro call, where we're going to discuss the brand high level, our numbers, what that initial investment looks like. We'll go into a webinar phase where we'll sit down on a Teams call, be able to get face-to-face with our prospects, and be able to walk through high-level support we provide from a real estate standpoint, from an operations, marketing standpoint, and review any questions they have from the FDD. Anything on the item 7, item 19, being able to give them a full understanding of what their financials or what our financials look like based on the FDD, and then
Crucial.
What that investment. Yeah, exactly. Following that, we want individual calls. Devin and I have learned a ton, but we want you guys to speak to the experts as well. We want to get you on with our head of real estate, head of operations, really allow you to pick their brains on what Meineke can provide them as a franchisee here.
Yeah. How many individuals will they
Can I jump in there
with?
one more second? Very open process where, owners, we want to go at their pace, but answer their questions through it. And then to your point about real estate, we've got a really solid real estate team. So as soon as franchisees come on board, our real estate team is dedicated to working with them. And we don't look at that build from the ground up really as our primary. We look at second generation automotive, which is less costly. It's a building that's already in place. So we're helping our owners rebrand those as a key area. of development. So really great support during that onboarding as well. Sorry to interrupt you there again.
No, that's great insight. And that's again, one of those things that's just, I think, unique about Meineke, ways that they're trying to do this that is cost effective and quicker, but still going to be highly successful for potential owners and entrepreneurs. So it's exciting. What I was asking was how many like individuals do they get to connect with throughout the whole discovery process? Is it just Jake and you? But I mean, Jake, you even mentioned a couple of the people that they're talking to, but about how many other people do they get to interact with before they would ever have to like make a decision about this as a future
I'd
opportunity?
say 5 to 10.
Right.
We have a virtual discovery day every month where we have our full team on there. Of course, franchisees are speaking with, candidates are speaking with franchisees as well during the process.
Yeah.
But the way we do our process, it's not cookie cutter. It's cookie cutter, and we do have a really solid process.
Okay.
But if the candidate wants to speak, let's say to our VP of marketing, we'll set that call up and have that individual conversation.
Yeah. Wow. So good. Tell us then about the investment opportunity, the cost. What's like, do you have a maximum minimum investment range at least as far as single unit? Let's go there. Let's go single unit opportunity. What's the cost? What's the franchise fee? What are we looking at spending here?
Yeah, definitely. In our item 7 there, our estimated initial investment, it has a range of $220K to $580K.
Okay.
Where your main differences come in there is on the equipment side, just due to second-gen automotive.
Right.
There's opportunities to acquire shops that are, well-established, built out from an equipment standpoint.
Yep.
Or in other cases, we're looking at more of an automotive shell where we're putting in 5 to 6 lifts, which, is just one example of where a little more spend might come into play. Yeah. Same with the building structure. If we have to give it a little love, repave the parking lot, maybe do some structural work. Those are the 2 categories where there's a main difference in the initial investment. But with the automotive landscape and with our real estate team support, it's typically not one opportunity that's coming to market at a time. Our goal is to cast a wide net, reach out to brokers, really leverage the Driven Brands network to get a pipeline established where we have a plethora of properties that meet our Meineke specs and our Meineke criteria from a high-level real estate standpoint, and then really refine our search, working with the franchisee themselves and their broker in the market to really find what's the best opportunity for them, not only from a cost perspective, but from a timeline perspective, and really being able to support our franchisees in finding the best opportunities in their markets, helping them establish and open their Meineke location.
Just a quick comment on data analytics. We've developed robust data analytics across Driven and Meineke, and that helps us make smart decisions across the board, but in 2 major areas as well. In real estate, we have these robust data systems that helps us analyze sites and gives us the approval that, hey, this is a good site in a good area. And then also from a marketing perspective as well. So that data is so helpful across our platforms to make from a strategy perspective.
Yeah, I love that how forward thinking you guys are when it comes to technology, being in the automotive space like that. That's encouraging to hear. Tell us a little bit. You guys keep mentioning support and on different levels and the kinds of support that you guys provide. Can you speak more into that from at least a high level view? What does support look like for your franchisees?
Definitely. Yeah. So our support for franchisees, it's really all inclusive, what we're able to provide for you. On the real estate side, when you sign up for a license, the first conversation we will have will be with your real estate manager, who will always be a phone call away for any properties you're looking at, you're vetting. The new unit growth team, we have very strong new unit growth managers set in place, project managers, who will help assist you from that process of having your property secured, your lease signed, or your purchase of the property, to when you have day 1 of operations, where our operations team takes over. And we have a full built out operations platform, down from your specific operations coach to regional operations managers to our VP of operations, where they are very involved in your success and helping you run the most efficient, most profitable Meineke location possible. On the marketing side, we have multiple different coordinators, ranging from regional coordinators who are doing more regional, national level marketing to a direct marketing coordinator who's going to help you with your grand opening, with local marketing campaigns, making sure we're giving you the support and driving retail work to your door.
At each stage of the process, to Jake's point, there's always a coach that's dedicated to supporting you. And our business coaches, they rely on, they run the playbooks that we have as well as the technology. So it goes from technology KPI dashboards to robust operational playbooks for our owners. And just a side note here, our operational playbooks are staged. So at each area, each level of growth, our franchisee knows exactly where they are and what they need to do to take the business to the next level. Then you layer on coaching on top of that, and that's a recipe that we really like.
Wow, I love that. I love that it's different teams and different coaches at each stage, that it's not just you go through the discovery process, sign the agreement, talk to real estate, and then you have your openings team, but it's you have your new unit team, then you have your operations team moving forward, you have coaches at each stage in it. So it's because there's different needs in your first 6 months. Then
dedicated coaching for multi-unit owners. So we have a dedicated coaching team for that specific growth engine.
Yeah, and I'm sure with years and years of experience and wisdom in it too. So
yeah, and Jared, one thing worth mentioning on the operations side as well, our ops team really harps on their experience. And our VP of Ops says it all the time. Combined, they have over 500 years or over 50 years of automotive experience between their support team. And it really speaks to, them being in automotive shops, them being gearheads, or really knowing, how to operate an automotive shop and then relaying it to the Meineke playbooks and platform. So they've been in shops before and, they've worked their way above shop. It really speaks to the support they're able to provide our franchisees.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible. Well, then because of that, you must have a ton of just highly successful individuals. I know every system has different people at different levels of success and on their own journey. I get that, but surely with how long you've been in business and what you guys provide to franchisees, you got to have some success stories. Can you share any with us of people who are, just either killing it or crushing it or pursuing that American dream, or anyone that come to mind for you?
Yeah, definitely. Multiple examples we could talk about here. A couple, I really like to harp on. One example would be one of our franchisees named Adam, located in kind of the North Philadelphia market. Okay. He's a guy who was a corporate executive, still a young guy, but worked up the ranks very quickly with always his dream of getting into entrepreneurship, owning a business for himself there. Yeah. And, he had a mentor who was with a different brand, but had the same ideas, same playbook, and ramped an automotive brand very quickly. And, his thought process was, how can I replicate this and be, slightly different, slightly more innovative? How can I provide that American dream for myself here of owning businesses? And he reached out to Meineke, came in the system, came in as a multi-unit owner, but also came in looking for acquisition opportunities. And really was able to grow his portfolio through hiring the right people, hiring a very strong automotive manager, putting that person in place, and then really rinse and repeating the process across multiple locations. Currently, he's roughly a 20-store owner in a couple of markets across the United States, where he's been able to implement his processes and our processes across the system. And it's been a guy who really came in looking for that American dream and support, and was really able to grow a very large multi-unit platform for himself in a very quick period of time.
And you said he started multi-unit, right?
So he did start through our ADA.
How many did you start with, and then now he's at 20, right?
Yeah, so through multiple different channels with our real estate team support, and then also through our resale team as well. He was able to grow his platform, started with an original commitment of 8 units, and again, was able to reach the 20 store mark, or roughly 20 store mark. If he's not there yet, he will be very shortly. So a very, very successful guy, and has no plans of stopping or slowing down with Meineke. So he's a guy we're grateful to have in the system.
And it's not just he's not just owns the Philly area, right? Like you said, across the country he owns.
Yeah, he's able to grow in different markets through development and through acquisition. They're not only of existing Meineke stores, but through independents as well, which is part of the real estate playbook and program there. And Jared, would love to talk about a single unit success as well.
Absolutely.
An example would be Sean, who is one of our owners in the Newport News, Virginia area.
Sure.
He's a guy who was a police chief, had recently retired, and was asking that question of what's next. You know, he wasn't a golfer, wasn't really a guy who wanted to sit around and do nothing all day. You know, he was still young and hungry, wanted to find an opportunity, something he could build and grow. He came to Meineke really with that question of, you know, what does Meineke provide for a guy who has no automotive experience, but is looking to get it, or is looking to be an entrepreneur, looking to grow something for himself that can be, you know, his baby to kind of nurture and grow, you know, as a retired police chief. He was able to really come in, you know, no knowledge of automotive, but learn through our playbooks, work with our real estate team, you know, a guy who had a minimal real estate experience just based on his profession and his career, but was able to work with our real estate team, follow the playbooks, listen to our support, and was able to, you know, right along schedule, open his location around 6 months after signing up for his franchise agreement, which is very standard across our system.
Okay.
And he's been in the system for about 8 months now. Opps raves about him. Real estate loved working with him. You know, a guy who has really been very successful with his single unit shop. And he's a guy who's we're in contact, you know, starting to start the process of what does growth look like? What does store 2, 3, 4 look like?
Yeah.
Men and women in service, military vets do really well in our model. And our charity of choice is Operation Homefront. So we just, you know, we very much respect that. And, you know, it goes back to that proven playbooks that, you know, folks come in, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Those proven playbooks are there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, that's incredible. And now you have these success stories, which are incredible, and obviously life-changing. But at the end of the day, no one gets into business, you know, because of a story or anything. They get in business to make money. And so can you tell us a little bit about maybe your item 19? Or what the kind of those numbers show. And we've talked about that item 19 several times in here on Fran Opps Lives. And so can you talk a little bit about that from your guys' perspective?
Yeah, happy to do so. You know, our item 19 shows very strong performance from our franchisees. It also includes a ramp as well, broken down to give performance of our stores who are newer in the system based on previous year's data of stores that have opened.
Okay.
Your average Meineke location does roughly $1 million for its average gross revenues, with roughly an 18.5% EBITDA margins, roughly $185K is what we see for a ramp location. But Meineke across the system, we also break it down in our item 19 from a top 50 to bottom 50%. Our top 50 doing over 1.3 million in gross with closer to a 20% EBITDA margin, just over 20%. Yeah. And then our bottom 50% as well within this breakdown, still operating with a good gross revenue of roughly $665K in that gross revenue, with closer to a 14% EBITDA margin, but still EBITDA of roughly $95K for our bottom 50% there. But majority of our stores, you know, our goal is to support you and bring them all up as high as we can here. You know, in that top 50%, reaching them, you know, in new brackets for their success and being able to support them and helping them do so.
What's the separator between those that are doing the 94 and those that are doing the 1.4? What's the difference?
There's, you know, a multitude of differences here as we kind of look at differentiators across our system, whether it's, you know, something with operations, you know, with Meineke being more of a hybrid style business from a real estate standpoint, you know, operations are key to the success once you get a customer in the door there. So following our playbooks, listening to the support we're giving you, following the operating structure is really what leads to our stores being successful, treating customers the right way. Again, our net promoter score of 4.4 across the system, when typical automotive sits around 2.3,
Right.
Is really, speaks to how we treat our customers and, the support we provide our franchisees to do so.
Yeah, we're excited for the folks that are hearing this to run through that item 19 with you. It's very clear and transparent, and I believe it gives you, with validation, of course, talking with our franchisees, a really good idea of the unit economics. We also have a revenue ramp in there, and so it really, as Jake was saying, it goes down to our four-wall EBITDA, so it gives you the ability to understand the margins, the unit economics, and build a business case as you're doing your due diligence.
Yeah, I love that. And the fact that you guys are so transparent in that on item 19. I don't know how many of you watching are aware of this, but franchisors aren't actually required to put anything in their item 19. I think we've talked about that before once or twice, but I want to highlight that they aren't actually required by the FTC to put anything in that. They could leave it blank if they wanted to. And when they do, that raises some yellow flags for me. That raises some question marks. Why is that? What's the reason for that? But when you see a company that is as transparent as they are to even break down their EBITDA at these different points, like there's something to really look into here as far as just trying to find trustworthy franchisors. Incredible. My last question for you guys, and I can't appreciate you guys enough today. My last question for you really is, there's a lot of players in this space. So why should an elite entrepreneur, if you had one last chance, right, for the guy sitting on the fence, why should an elite entrepreneur and empire builder, why should they choose Meineke over any of your competitors?
Yeah, great question, Jared. And there's a couple of key points that I think really differentiate Meineke across the automotive landscape and our competitors there. First one, I would say, is the backing and support of Driven Brands. Being the largest aftermarket automotive service company in North America here and having multiple different brands, there's a lot of additional support we're able to provide you from a corporate structure standpoint that other players aren't able to do. Some examples would be like our procurement team. So with Meineke, we have national connections with AutoZones, with Napas, with different regional players where we can pair you with a parts distributor in your market that we have existing connections with. So we typically are able to get very exclusive pricing on those different, those different parts through our connections there. Something too we have as well that's a shared service for Meineke is like our fleet team. So working with fleet accounts from national fleets like Wheels, ARI, Donnell, Element, rental car places, Hertz Budget, Enterprise, and then even like Amazon DSPs, FedEx, UPS drivers. Being able to have those national connections and work with our franchisees with a dedicated fleet team to be able to drive additional business to your door to make sure you are having your retail work, but also have some fleet work that Driven Brands is able to provide to you based on your market and what existing fleet accounts and connections on the national level we're able to assist in driving to your locations.
Yeah.
The automotive industry, I believe, is in a very interesting place today. You mentioned it at the beginning, the aging car park. You've got a recession-resistant industry, highly fragmented marketplace. And so we're doing some really interesting things in center to change the consumer experience, leading edge digital marketing. And, it's all focused on treating the customer the right way and bringing that customer back into our location. And so again, just across the board, what you have is a full team that's supporting your growth with robust playbooks and technology. And so I think, to Jake's point, the support of Driven and what we've done with Meineke and the operations and teams across the board, it's really exciting times.
Yeah. No kidding. Guys, I can't appreciate this enough. I want to be respectful of your time and the time of our guests as well. But this has been great. I have yet, in the 400 brands that we've worked with at BAI, I haven't been able to really spend much time diving into Meineke yet. So this has been incredibly insightful just for me. I can't imagine what it's been like for our entrepreneurs as well. But I just want to say, for those of you that are watching this, and that's you, and you're kind of looking at this going, man, I want to learn more, see if this might be the right fit for me. I kind of fit that profile, and I love hearing about the support and how they're leading, in different spaces, especially with technology and some of these national accounts and just all these different things you're hearing. You want to learn more, see if your territory is available, or and just see if you potentially qualify. What I want you to do is just right now, literally type in the comments "on with life." Literally write that in the comments, "on with life." Type it in the comments below now. And what we'll do is we'll begin a conversation. It's not signing your name to going, "Yes, I'm going with Meineke" at all. It's literally just so you can begin doing your research. Jake, you even mentioned at one point earlier in an interview too, about through the discovery process, that it's not just you guys vetting these entrepreneurs, but it's them also vetting you. And the beauty of what I get to do in this whole relationship is serve as an advocate for those of you watching right now as you begin your due diligence and go through the discovery process of trying to determine, is this franchise the right next best step for me in my future? That's what I advocate for. I advocate for your future on behalf of you. And so let's begin the conversation. Just begin talking about qualifications and territory. We'll kind of go that route. And, those that we do find that might be a good fit, I'm going to connect them to you guys, Devin and Jake. And we're going to, hopefully change a lot of people's lives and as we help them franchise their future. So can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us to the show, and everybody out there, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been so good. So, guys, hopefully I'll see you guys at the BAI conference later this year, but we'll talk again soon. All right, I appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you all.